All right, starting off, this is the build. I stole this from a gentleman on Twitter. I'm going to put his screen cap here right now. However, that's not to say I didn't make it my own. So, what we were using: Scatter Grenade, Vanishing Step, Trapper's Ambush, combined with the fragments, Echo of Dilation, Leeching, Starvation, and Persistence. We are using this build to maximize the amount of time we're staying invisible, so that means we're combining it with Graviton Forfeit with max mobility, max strength. Now, every time you go invisible, add an extra 4 to 6 seconds depending on the type of invisibility that you're getting. And we were using this with the one and only Chaperone. Now, Chaperone was the only gun I used. Same thing with Gnawing Hunger. The only guns I used throughout the entirety of this play session. And I need to say, I am incredibly impressed with everything this build has to offer. Just to show what the mods are real quick, this is what I was using for mods. And let's get back to it. There's just so much to talk about when dealing with Nightstalker Hunters, so I'm just going to start with doing what I feel is the most unreasonable first, and I'm going to start by talking about the supers. Nightstalker is one of those rare hunter subclasses that have 3 functionally different supers. However, none of them are very good, and they always have the problem of you never have the one you need when you need it, and if you think you're going to get a kill with it, think again, because you're probably going to need to finish them off with something other than your super. The only super that doesn't, quote-unquote, have this problem is the Mobius Quiver, and even at that, the Mobius Quiver has tracking problems for needing to hit 3 of 3 shots just to get a kill, or to hit one target with both volleys to guarantee a kill just isn't ideal. It almost feels like a joke earning your super, and that's why I was running 20 intellect this entire time, because the supers weren't good. The light shining through the darkness of the void black hole that is Hunter Supers was the Spectral Blades. It works phenomenally in 6s. However, don't expect to have any amount of reasonable damage resistance. Don't expect the animations to not take an unreasonably long time. And if you're going up against someone sitting in either a well or a bubble, good luck, Charlie, because it just isn't going to kill him. You're going to die, and you're going to be mad. Don't get me wrong, there's ways to make the supers good, using things like Gwizinvest and Orpheus Rig, and even Star Eater scales if you want to waste your exotic slot just to do a tiny bit more damage, but we're talking Crucible here. I main Nightstalker Hunter in PvE. That is my main. We're just talking about Crucible, and the supers suck so bad it hurts to use because you don't have your guns in your hand. You can't do the thing that this subclass and that this build is designed to do, and that is to abuse other players' reliance on their radar and to be as sneaky as possible. There's a reason why crouching removes you from other people's radar and also enhances your own radar. It's basically the best of both worlds. You make your opponent's crutch unavailable, and you make your crutch even better than it is supposed to be. And that's on going invisible and using the smoke bomb as a tool to bait, because it does show up as an enemy on a radar. Same thing as a strand decoy. It shows up as an enemy on the radar. If you're not invisible, you're doing something wrong. The only time you shouldn't be invisible is when you just shot your gun, or if your smoke bomb or your dodge are on cooldown. And if your smoke bomb and your dodge are on cooldown, fix something. Get more mobility, get more strength, do anything besides what you're doing, because you need these things active all the time. Don't be afraid to just chuck around smoke bombs too. The only thing you shouldn't be using them for is to try to finish an enemy or do damage. It's not good. Because of Trapper's Ambush, you're making yourself invisible, you're making your allies invisible, and if you just throw it on the ground instead of using Quick Fall, what you're doing is you're leaving a trap behind that'll last for a little bit longer, and as I said before, make your opponents confused because it'll show up on their radar as being an enemy, and you can use that to your advantage by crouching in corners and doing whatever it is you do. This build is as much about taking advantage of the entire kit as it is to just playing safe and letting your enemies make mistakes. Because of the way invisibility works in this game, that being said, it really doesn't. You should never be charging at anybody while invisible thinking that they aren't going to see you unless there's some extenuating circumstances, that being they're taking fire from your teammates, or they're looking in a different direction, or if they're scoped into a long-range weapon, or anything that essentially hampers their field of view. Also, the scatter grenade that you're using in this build is an incredible priming and finishing tool. It's almost hard to choose when to use your scatter grenade, considering how useful it is as being able to shut off escape routes. It doesn't last for very long, but the time that it does last, your opponents are going to see it, and you're going to feel its strength. My favorite way to use the scatter grenade was to just chuck it around corners and fiend for hit markers, because if you get those hit markers, even if you're killing, you're going to be able to hit someone 151 to the chest with Chaperone, and that's all you're looking for. That 151 sweet range, right, boom, to the chest, and then you're done with the kill. Now, with this build, it's as much about the shotgun as it is being able to melee somebody. Don't be embarrassed because you can't use the slug shotgun as it's supposed to be. That is, shooting people in the forehead with the slugs, getting those kills from ridiculously wrong ranges. The slug on this shotgun doing 151 damage or doing 100 damage, really, if you're able to hit somebody's health down to the point where you can melee them, just melee them. Everybody does it. Plus, with the echo of leeching that we're using, every single melee kill you're going to get is going to start your regen for your health, so you don't even have to worry about being in a bad position, or hell, even having low recovery, because your health regen is just going to start immediately. It's almost too good. Let your enemies come to you, and if you're going to them, don't be embarrassed to not hit your shots. Like I said, Chaperone is good. It's only as good as you're going to be making it. The part of this kit that I haven't mentioned yet, the Gnawing Hunger. My roll isn't particularly good. I have two perks that are just the opposite of each other. I have Kill Clip and Auto-Loading Holster. They don't work well together, but the only thing we're using this for is Kill Clip. The Auto-Loading is just because this is a PvE roll, and I just haven't found the time to get a new one. But the Gnawing Hunger is a laser beam, and because it's a Void Auto Rifle, it synergizes perfectly with the rest of your build. The Chaperone has so much handling, even hitting 2 headshots with the Gnawing Hunger, or hitting a couple body shots while I had to pull out that shotgun and finish people off incredibly quickly. The hot swap potential that comes with Gnawing Hunger is crazy, not to mention the scatter grenade and the Gnawing Hunger, the way I was using it, had insanely hard to compete with time to kills, not to mention the airborne effectiveness of the Gnawing Hunger felt so much better than most other auto rifles I was using, and its rate of fire is quick enough where you don't really need to worry about missing too many shots, and if you get that final blow, your kill clip, you're just hitting people for insane amounts of damage. It is the underrated hero of this build, and I didn't mention it nearly enough as I should. If you need a good auto rifle, or want a good auto rifle, that being said, Gnawing Hunger is crazy. The only other thing that I would like to touch on that I haven't talked about yet is this one Echo of Starvation. Picking up a Void Breach or Orb of Power grants you Devour. You're not seeing many Void Breaches in Crucible, but you're seeing a whole heck of a lot of Orbs of Power. And combined with the Echo of Persistence, your Devour is going to last around 50% longer. You're looking at 8 seconds for Devour, and every time you get a kill with anything, Devour is going to continually feed upon itself and continually refresh and regenerate. It is perfect for snowballing, and you don't see Devour used enough on Hunter just because the build wasn't initially designed for Devour in mind doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using it. So, where does that leave us? Well, my friends, that leaves us with 2 of the greatest AFK kills I have ever gotten, and that is a perfect segue for me to get into where I'm going to rank this subclass. Alright, we are almost done. Going to be ranking the Void Hunter, and y'all, I'm tempted to put this thing into Broken. I was having so much fun using this. And not only was it fun, it was good fun, doing so good. However, it's to put this into the broken tier means that I think that it is on the same level as the two current broken subclasses here, Strand Hunter and Solar Warlock, and that's just simply not the case. It is better than every single other subclass in the competitive tier. It almost deserves an in between, but I can only show so much on screen, and Void Warlock is the only subclass uniquely bad enough to get its own tier. So that's where we are. This is what it's looking like right now. We only got one more left. We only got the Void Titan left. I'm so excited to finally get to play Void Titan. I don't know where I'm going to rank it. We'll find out relatively soon. Let's get back to it. I'm just going to leave y'all with my closing thoughts. I love playing Void Hunter, both in regular competitive, not so much in 3v3s. It's much better in 6s because there are just no way for this thing to compete with the top tier subclasses like Void Titan and Solar Warlock. It just doesn't really happen. It's a very niche but incredibly strong play style. It ranks up there with the other subclasses, and yeah, thank you for watching. I'm so close to being done with this series. Void Titan is next. It's going to be very soon, and I'm just going to leave y'all with this. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and don't let anybody ever tell you something's bad when you enjoy using it.